Welcome, everybody, to the Mega Gamecast. I'm your host, Ryan Shepard, and next to me I have Drew LaPointe.
What's going on, everyone?
On the phone, we have Cy Cuddy.
How's it going?
And we have Sage Diamond.
Hello.
How's everyone doing?
Doing real well, Ryan. Yourself?
Cool. Not too bad.
I'm not doing too bad over here either.
That's good. Everyone having a good week?
So far, so good.
That's cool.
I mean, I still have a job, so I'm still pretty good.
Yeah, that's better than some people.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So let's just get right into it. We've been playing Fallout 4, and that's a pretty good game.
Pretty good. I think it's a pretty great game. Bethesda, really doesn't ever disappoint.
Pretty great game. Okay. What do you think, Cy? You've been playing quite a bit of it too.
So far, I am very impressed with the game. I'm having a lot of fun with it, and I'm going to say it's actually one of my Game of the Year categories for Game of the Year. Excuse
Oh,
me.
that's pretty high praise.
I would agree with him, though, honestly. Even with all the glitches, I still think it's a great game. I'm not disappointed at all. I was actually having this conversation with somebody earlier today. They said, I don't like Bethesda because mainly Bethesda's known for its glitches. But I said, that's what makes it so great, though. You get all these hilarious moments just traversing, and because it defies all logic and reality.
Yeah,
I'm no complaints whatsoever.
Yeah. I mean, some of the best stuff that comes out of their games is just the wackiness that happens around them, like not even supposed to happen, just ridiculousness.
Yeah, exactly. It turns out to be entertaining.
Yeah.
So I appreciate it. I think they did a really good job tightening up on their graphics as well.
Yep. Yeah, it's a pretty good looking game. It's certainly not the best looking game that's come out this year, but it's definitely a step up.
Well,
from,
not at all.
No, not at all.
Well,
Skyrim and
from Fallout 3.
Especially Fallout 3, it's a big step up.
Yeah.
And it's even better, certainly better looking than Skyrim too.
Well, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't think anyone was expecting a graphics powerhouse, even from, when they revealed it.
Yeah.
But, I mean, Bethesda games, have they ever really been known for their amazing graphics? Not
No,
really.
no, they haven't. That's why I feel like they did a good job. Like when I feel that they did a good job as far as the graphics are concerned. When I'm in third person view, sometimes I'm used to really hard edges in the characters.
Yeah.
So, especially with Fallout 3 and Skyrim and whatnot, and when I look at the characters in third person, they look smoother. I don't know. I think they did a really good job.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I don't really play from third person all that often. I only really do it to make sure whatever I'm wearing doesn't look like total trash. But
well, that's ironic, stating that the fact that you are in the apocalyptic wasteland and there's not a lot of clothes options.
So that's actually there's quite a few clothes options.
Yes, there's a Minuteman clothes option, which is really fancy.
Let me rephrase that. There's very few fancy options or good-looking options. You're basically a wastelander, so you're not going to be a GQ model or something like that.
I don't know. I found a pretty nice red dress.
GQ model of the wasteland, probably.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, Sage, are you playing as a female too?
No, but
No.
I heard that I should have.
Yeah, that's what Ryan's doing too.
Yeah, I went female this time. I usually do that with RPGs. I've done that since the original Mass Effect because the voice acting for the female Shepard was really, really good. In my opinion, it was better than the male Shepard, which the male Shepard just kind of did it pretty generic. The female Shepard did it, had a lot more emotion in her dialogue.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't compare. But I heard the booty was big though, so that's the only
That's
reason
true.
why I was
You can-
suggested. And that's kind of messed up when you think about it in retrospect.
You can make the booty pretty big.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, I think some of the, we go back to unintentional comedy, a lot of that's been coming from people making ridiculous character creator
Yeah,
things.
seriously, man.
Some of the stuff I've seen people make on the internet is just insane. Like they've done Walter White from Breaking Bad.
Like almost
they
perfect
did
looking.
They did Hulk Hogan.
Yep.
They did David Ortiz. Beavis and Butthead.
Yep.
That you showed us, Ryan.
Yep.
And there's a few more.
I could have swore that somebody made a Kanye West one and created a meme out of it.
Yes, they did.
It.
Yep.
I posted it.
No, they did. They did.
That was hilarious.
I think I commented on that one that if Kanye West ends up in the vault, I'm staying out of the vault. I'm dying when the bombs fall.
I'll die from nuclear fallout.
I'll take the bombs.
You hope the radiation kills you instead of staying a minute with Kanye West.
Yes, that's how I feel about that. There's just been some really crazy character creations that's cool to have something like that just branch off like that.
That's probably the most, I'd say, detailed character creator Bethesda's done, if you think about it. At least facial wise.
Yeah.
Facial,
I don't really.
It's kind of revolutionary in what they've done. In fact, I actually found one where somebody made a Rick Grimes Fallout.
Oh, really?
Okay.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Can you link that to me, please?
Sure.
Did they make Lori?
Oh, God.
That was one thing that a lot of people didn't know was that you could actually customize both the
male and female.
Yeah, male and female characters. So it's not just because the wife's sitting in the background or the dude sitting in the background doesn't mean you can't customize them. You can, and those actually show up as the character models in the game, which is pretty cool.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So there's the beginning sequence has you living in your house.
Yeah.
And you have a baby, and
because it's like
you see your husband and everything like that.
Because the baby becomes like kind of like the spawn of the two parents you create.
Believe it or not, I've heard some stories about two white parents having a black baby and vice versa. So I guess there's some craziness going on there where it may not be an actual mix of the two.
It was the milkman's kid, Ryan.
Yeah. It's like, wonder what's going on here.
That was very typical in that time.
Yeah, it probably was. Yeah. So maybe it's historically accurate.
I don't know the ending, but I would find it very hilarious if that was the ending. Turns out it's not your kid. It's
Twist.
Three dogs.
Twist. Yeah, it's three. That's where he comes into the story. He's
18 years, and on the 18th birthday, you found out it wasn't his.
Yeah. It's like he just comes in at the end. Hey, guess what? It's Three Dog.
Yeah. You are now listening. No. I'm kind of sad that Three Dog isn't, the DJ playing on the
that was what I was listening to. I think it was the classic radio, and I actually found it kind of boring compared to the Fallout 3.
Well, I enjoyed the classical music that you can play. It seemed like it went seamlessly with your combat and stuff like that.
Oh, okay. I didn't mean the classical radio. I meant the classics radio. So it was like the old-fashioned music. From like the 50s or something like that, and it was.
I mean the doo-wop music.
Yeah, it was. Well, it wasn't just doo-wop, but it was that era of music. And the DJ was so the character he was playing was just a super depressed guy, like he's in this studio and he's not prepared to do whatever he's doing or anything like that, and he just goes on these really long monologues about how sad he is that there's nobody there with him and stuff like that. But it repeats so often. Like I was out in the wasteland just walking around because I like the music, but between songs he does like advertisements and stuff like that, and they repeated so often, and I was like, I don't think I'm going to listen to this.
So they should have put a little more.
Yeah, I would have liked a little bit more in it. A little bit more variety to what they say. Yeah.
But I haven't switched to that station because there's that classical station.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just haven't experienced it yet. I don't think I want to experience it without Three Dog, but maybe I'll try it out. I don't know.
I actually ended up turning the radio off completely because the ambient music was really good. It's like really creepy when it needs to be and epic when it needs to be. So I found that to be the best solution.
Never disappointed.
All right, so I'm the one guy here who hasn't played it, so I'm gonna ask you guys a couple questions.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So you guys Did all you guys start with Fallout 3? None of you guys actually played the originals?
I played.
Did you play the original ones? Like the
yeah, alongside my uncle.
Okay.
I'm actually thinking about replaying it because I don't remember much from it when I was a kid.
Yeah,
sure.
Those are like from the 90s, yeah.
Yeah, so I want to replay it and I want to stream it because I think that'd be pretty interesting because I recall it being turn-based.
Yeah.
Yes, it was. Yep. Oh. Well, that's where the
VATs.
Yeah, I think that's where they put the VATs into the first person, so it kind of made it a little bit turn-based.
Yeah.
And
they wanted to still keep those RPG elements.
Yeah. And those were turn-based RPGs. There's actually just recently launched on consoles, launched on PC last year. There's a game called Wasteland 2, which is a spiritual successor to the original Wasteland, which was, in the same vein as Fallout, made by the same guys that made those kinds of games. And so if you're looking for a modern version of that, that's a pretty good pickup to play. Because those, I wonder if you'd maybe even have a little bit of difficulty playing some of those older games on modern operating systems. Sometimes those old games don't run so good.
I know they have them for sale on Steam, so I think they've got something that works out rather well.
Yeah, they sell Fallout 3 on Steam, but there's a warning right on it that says this may not run on your system because it requires some sort of software that doesn't come with Windows anymore. So I know that a lot of people are having issues with original Fallout 3 on PC where they can't even launch it. It launches and immediately crashes because of this weird bug.
All right, but you guys have all played 3 in New Vegas, and now the new one?
Oh, New Vegas was terrible.
Yeah, you thought so?
Oh, really?
My question...
I played the first 5 minutes and I dumped the game.
Oh, man. I really like New Vegas.
Yeah, that was one game that I really didn't enjoy.
Interesting.
I don't know. I hear that from a lot of big Fallout 3 fans, though. They weren't the biggest New Vegas and vice versa. But I just wanted to ask you guys really about your thoughts on the Boston location and how that compares to previous...
DC and Las Vegas.
Yeah. Like, how does it stack up? Is it your favorite location? Is it,
Well, me and Cy may be a little biased because we live just down the street from Boston, so I think it's a pretty cool setting. I think they did a really great job of recreating these iconic areas. I've seen some of them. I haven't seen all of them yet, but Fenway Park, they took that and they made it look like a place that you would actually turn into a city trying to stay safe.
Yeah, no, that was pretty cool. You showed me
that. World gone to hell. So I thought that was really cool. And they've even thrown in some of the characters with Boston accents. So you'll come across some characters and they'll just be like,
"Where's my cigar?"
Yeah, I'm not going to try to do a Boston accent, but you're like, what the heck is that guy saying? And it's like, oh, he's talking with a Boston accent. That's awesome. That's not everyone does, but some of them do.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you got to keep it. You got to keep it Boston, man. But Cuddy, what's your thoughts, man?
For me, I really like the location so far. I mean, I need to feel like I still need to explore it more to get the full grasp and to give it a rating based on between playing in Boston or Las Vegas or Washington, D.C. But so far, I'm really enjoying it. And again, I don't live that far from Boston, so it is kind of a real treat to get to explore the eastern Massachusetts area. But so cool. Far,
have you
like
found some familiar places that you know in that area at all?
Absolutely. I mean, Fenway Park for Run, as Ryan mentioned, is incredibly well done, incredibly imagined on what Boston could be like if it was made into a town in a post-apocalyptic world. I mean, there's the Mass Pike, which they did an excellent job of recreating, which I've actually driven through, or I feel like I've driven through when going into Boston. There's the state capitol. There's a Paul Revere monument. There are numerous towns that are almost in... It seems like they're almost in the exact location of where you expect to find them. Even today.
There was a video posted not too long ago about some of these comparison shots, and they're pretty good. I mean, they obviously have to take some liberties with the way buildings are put next to each other and some of the backdrops, and of course they made it a little bit smaller because
absolutely
walking around Boston, one end of the Boston to the other, you can't do it in like 15 minutes, which you can in the game. So obviously they shrunk it down. They did a really good job of, like, MIT is there, the Bunker Hill monument, and just a few other things that it looks legit. It looks like it does in real life.
Authentic.
I wonder if they're going to start, if they're going to keep the Fallout series going, and if they do, if they're going to just feature it in a different state, and then eventually probably, into a different. I think it'd be pretty interesting for them to set it here in Tampa, because it's just
that would be a cool place.
Yeah, dude, definitely.
That would be interesting. No, I wouldn't mind playing.
And come on, we all know there's going to be a Fallout 5 or like a spin-off in between. Come on now.
I think it would be cool if we went across the ocean. If we went to China, where like, what if you go across the ocean and you find out, oh, China's fine. Like, we were at war with them. They're the ones that launched the bombs at us, but they recovered. They're fine. Who knows? That would be kind of cool.
Yeah, right. See different perspectives.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think China or Japan, that would be, two interesting places.
Yeah. So I like that they added in the building mechanic to this game. I think that adds a really good layer to the gameplay and a lot of not replayability, but longevity to the lifespan, because you're not just wandering around and doing quests. You're also kind of hunkering down and building settlements, kind of the way you want. It's a little bit limited, but it's still a pretty cool feature that they added to it.
Well, I haven't really gotten used to the building aspect of it. Like, I've tried it, but I don't know. Games like Minecraft and stuff like that, I've never been really good at building. I'm pretty sure if I practice enough, I'll do it, but it's just the patience of doing it. So I've just been really just cutting through the story. And so far, I've only got Strong as a companion. So I'm going to, hopefully, after we get done here, I'm going to hop on and see how much further I can go.
It's a little bit difficult to actually get the buildings placed the way you want them, because it's all done from a first-person perspective. It doesn't give you like a top-down view or a better view when you're placing things. So sometimes it can be a little difficult to line objects up if you're trying to build a house or something like that. But for the most part, I think it's pretty good. They could have used a few more tutorials, I feel like. They kind of just say, hey, build this one thing, and then that's pretty much all they do for the rest of the building mechanics. Like,
they leave it for you to figure out.
Yeah, you don't figure.
Which I think that's great that they did that, honestly, because I get tired of certain games. I can't name any offhand.
Hand holding.
They hold your hand throughout the entire process. You don't learn how to do it on your own, and I
actually respect Bethesda a lot for that. Yeah, because they released this game in this market, like, of casual games, I guess, but.
I felt that they could have had a little bit more. I don't want them to just hold my hand through every single thing that you have to build, but like assigning villagers to crops was kind of a thing that took me a while to figure out. And there's no way.
I still haven't figured that out.
There's no way to.
Honestly, I don't think I figured that either. I think I've just seen villagers taking care of them. So.
Oh, okay.
They automatically did it?
I think they did. I mean, the plants grew, so they must have done something.
Yeah, but are you collecting food in your settlements?
Yeah,
I ain't collecting it.
Well, no, but I mean, is the settlement collecting food? Because there's a food resource.
Right.
That you have to keep an eye on.
When you go into your your build menu to build anything on the settlement, you'll see up on the top, your food resource, wood resource, water resource.
Yeah.
How many beds you have.
How happy they are. How many beds versus how many.
Yeah, I'd have to take another look. Unfortunately, I really haven't spent much time looking into that.
Yeah.
I mean, I've done it here and there, but I've mostly, like you say, it's just been plowing through the story, or at least trying to get through the story. But Ryan, to go on your point, I agree that maybe there could have been another tutorial or two to show you exactly what's expected and what needs to do when it comes to building
structures
your
inside your settlement. Yeah.
Right. And I kind of wish that there was an overview look at the town, but
I wish there was a little bit more tangible information. Like, I could tell which citizens were assigned to crops, which were assigned to defense, because sometimes So you assign people to tasks, and they usually spend most of their time hanging out around where those tasks need to be completed, but sometimes they're wandering around. So I'll need to assign somebody to be a trader at a new shop I built, and I don't know if the person I'm going up to is already assigned to something unless I remember that, oh yeah, that's the dude I assigned to the defense.
Oh, so there's like no menu to like keep
yeah,
it?
there's, as far as I know. I mean,
Oh.
if there is, they didn't tell you where it is.
Yeah.
And it's buried in some menu somewhere that I haven't been able to find yet. Like
Or
there's
maybe
no way.
Bethesda just did that on purpose.
Yeah.
Now you have to really get, emotionally attached to each character.
Well, that
You
sucks.
have to memorize each face.
That sucks. They should have
it
done a better job with
it
that.
does.
Like if you're gonna put in that big section, like spend so much time fleshing out that building mechanic, at least put something in there to make it a little bit easier to manage. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, it would have just been a menu. Like most of the settlers aren't even named, so everybody's just named settler. So you go up to them and you're like, some of them are named, some of them are, some of them are like, there's like a couple of named settlers, but most of them you go up to them and it just says settler above their head. So
That's
you're
true.
like, I mean, even if they had names, I could remember like, oh, Bob's assigned to the gardening job, so I can't assign him to anything else. I don't know. Maybe Bob wants more than one job. Maybe Bob's not a slacker like Susie, who just hangs around and sleeps all day. I don't know.
I mean, the fact that they even, I mean, it is their first attempt at doing this particular mechanic, so.
Yeah.
I mean, I know people,
It's just like
we shouldn't be cutting them any slack, really. But
I love it so much. I love that they added it in there, and I love that because of it, it gave a reason to have all of this junk and collect it all in the world. But I wish it was just a little bit more polished. I felt like I knew I was accomplishing what I needed to accomplish, because sometimes it's hard for me to tell if I'm doing things right. And actually, I've got a pretty good handle on it now. But I mean, I spent a long time messing with it to make sure that I was doing it correctly.
Sure.
Did any of you guys play the mobile app when it came out?
Yeah.
I did. Yeah, I did for a little while. I kind of lost interest in it, and then I deleted it off my phone. I mean, don't get me wrong. It had its moments, but it
was shallow. You saw most of it within like a week of playing it, depending on how much you played it. And actually, the mobile app has a lot in common with the base building. It was like a mini version of that, where you have to worry about resources and stuff like that.
Yeah, but see, they did a better job of you being able to track your vault dwellers. in the
Oh,
mobile
absolutely.
app.
I mean, all of that was right there.
Your vault dwellers, and the best part was I think you could only let one go on a trek to like get supplies.
No,
you could
do,
send a bunch
up
out.
to 2.
Oh, okay. Well,
it
I only
makes you
did-
wonder
but-
why didn't they just like incorporate that app right into the game?
Yeah, it would have been real cool if like you go into a town and it goes into that app. It's just
Or you run into a vault, and then that's how you manage you become the vault leader, but you're the only one who could, traverse out,
Yeah,
and
you-
that's how you manage them
maybe. I don't know.
digitally.
That's
that would have
interesting.
been a cool, like, because you guys could like manage your people like on your phone or whatever when you're.
Yeah, they
Well, maybe the reason for that is because you get an app that's already incorporated with your game.
Yeah, the Pip-Boy app.
Pip-Boy app.
yeah,
that's
they
true.
could have incorporated into that. That would have been cool. Like you pull up your Pip-Boy, whether you wear it on your wrist or not in real life, that's up to you to decide. No one's going to judge you. But if you pull up your Pip-Boy, you say, "Oh, I'm going to assign this guy and this guy and this guy to this thing," and that would have been a much easier way to handle at least assigning duties in the town.
Well, I don't think Bethesda's trying to make things easy on us, though. Like, look, you got to walk, a pretty far distance to get from point A to point B in this game, too. So I don't think they're trying to make it easy for us.
No, not to mention how easy it is to die in this particular game. Like, the enemies are a lot tougher. I mean, that's another thing I want to discuss.
The death claws are huge.
Death claws are huge. The ghouls come out of nowhere. The
Yes, they
mole
do.
rats come from
Yeah.
right underground.
Yep.
I mean, it's...
Yeah,
I
they're
mean,
not
it's
like
amazing.
mole rats would have been just wandering around on the surface and you'd be able to spot them from a mile away. And now they come burrowing out from underground. Ghouls seem to fall out of the ceiling.
Oh,
No, they don't just fall out of the ceiling. They're dead on the floor, then they rise up.
Yeah, well, some of them just fall out of the ceiling right on top of you, it seems like. and they like
No,
crawl
that
out of.
hasn't happened to me yet.
Oh well,
so.
it's happened to me several times, and they crawl out of
I
like
had a
destruction
okay.
and stuff like that. What was that?
I had a ghoul. Sorry, I didn't know you were almost finished. I had a ghoul. It was up on the second floor of a house, and it didn't want to come down. Like I tried to bait it to come downstairs, so I had more room to shoot it.
Yeah.
And I don't know. That was like the smartest ghoul in the entire game. Every other one will run straight towards you if you're fucking opening up fire. But this one was just like, no, I'm not going down there because I know why you want me down there. It was freaking ridiculous.
That wouldn't
That's
be a
the
bug,
only
would
issues
it?
I had with ghouls, though.
Yeah.
You wouldn't
I
call that a
haven't had
bug,
one
would
falling
you?
up. What?
You wouldn't call that a bug, would you? The AI
Uh,
not acting like you thought it would?
Maybe. I
Sounds
don't
like
know.
a bug to me.
You never know with these games.
Yeah, so, Sai, you're playing on PlayStation 4. What are you playing on, Sage?
Xbox.
Xbox One? And I'm
Yeah,
playing on
I'm-
PC.
Full circle. I like it.
Yeah. So
Well,
how
I would
have
definitely-
you guys felt about the performance? Because there was a lot of coverage of that prior to release, and even after it came out, that the performance on the consoles may not have been what most people would have been looking for in the game.
Quite personally, my console's been performing fine.
Yeah.
I really haven't had any issues, or I haven't had any noticeable issues. Now, again, I don't play the PC version, but I will say that, I mean, in terms of gameplay itself, it's definitely superior to the previous Fallout games. I mean,
Yeah,
the
but
shooting is
have
fantastic.
you noticed any slowdown?
To be honest, no. I mean, sometimes when I'm first starting, the load up screen can take a little bit, but
Well, that's
honestly,
that's normal.
no.
We're talking just
Yeah.
gameplay, brother.
Yeah, have you noticed? So there's a big thing was frame rate
Well-
drops. Like parts of the game where you would walk into an area, or things would go crazy, and the frame rate would drop almost to a point where it would start to affect how well you could aim your gun.
Not that I've noticed, but again, that's just me. I can't speak for everybody.
Okay.
Well, I play on PC and Xbox.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, and I've noticed on my Xbox, right after I got out of a conversation, my aim screen was up. I don't know if that counts for a frame rate drop, but I haven't experienced what you're describing.
Okay. Yeah, I mean it's just things you read on the internet. You're not sure if they're true or not. I just wanted to ask and see if it affected you at all, or what the deal was. Because I'm playing on PC.
Not really.
And I have a pretty decent PC that could run it 1080p. I think I get everything maxed out. I'm not entirely sure. And there was
You're
one.
secretly bragging about your PC. Go ahead, bro.
Yeah,
brag.
that's what I'm secretly doing
Just
here. But I just want to get it out there and say that I'm not playing on some, not everybody's going to have a perfect experience, because not everybody's going to have the same computer. Not everybody's going to have. It seems
Right.
like there may be some issues with, even console to console. So, my experience has been pretty good. There was one area where it did drop to like 45 frames per second, where it was normally 60, and no matter what I did, it would do that. You guys have probably been to that area. It was the Corvega factory or something like that, where you had to kill all these raiders that were in this factory. You went outside, you went on the roof, and there were these big towers on the roof that you had to kill everybody. It was pretty early on in the game.
Yeah, I remember that story. Yeah.
My performance dropped pretty consistently in that area, no matter what I did. It was a crazy scene though. You were in the towers. The draw distance was totally maxed out. There were raiders all over the place shooting at you, so I could see why it would do that. But that's the only time that I've noticed any sort of performance issues on the PC.
I remember playing the Corvega mission, and I never experienced anything that you're describing, Ryan. Mine worked out fine.
Okay.
I haven't played the Corvega mission. At least I don't think I have. I don't know.
It was
I don't
one of the
remember.
settlement missions. I think it was for the second settlement you get. So if you
Is it-
haven't done the settlements, you probably haven't done it yet.
Well, is it before? Because I know you go and help the settlers because you build ties with the Minutemen. Is
Yeah.
it before you go and get their main base? Is it part of that storyline?
No, it would be after you do Sanctuary. So it's after you establish your first base. It's the second one that the guy sends you off on to. You go to that thing and they're like, "Oh, can you help us with raiders?" So then you got to go kill some raiders, and they're at this base, and it's that's the only time that I noticed it, and otherwise it's been pretty good on PC.
Have there been patches?
I've had some updates in Steam. I don't know about the consoles. There's been like 1 or 2 updates that I've seen a download. I don't know what it does. I haven't seen any patch notes, but there has been an update for the PC version.
For the PC4, I have not seen any updates
PC
yet.
4?
PlayStation 4.
Nice.
But for real, I don't know. I had heard from a couple people. I guess if you use an external hard drive on the consoles, it runs a lot smoother. But like that requires you getting an external hard drive. So.
Well, that's only for Xbox One. The PlayStation 4 can't have an external hard drive.
Yeah.
That's a whole another.
So,
the
that's been said for a while that Microsoft recommends you get an external hard drive for the Xbox One because the USB 3.0 connection apparently runs faster than the internal. It's probably a hard drive speed issue too, but I mean, the load times on PC are pretty quick, so I haven't noticed anything there. But I've heard people complaining about the load times too. So I guess it's all whether or not it's affecting you and whether or not it actually
that's the thing.
Affects your enjoyment of the game.
Like some people really just aren't that detail oriented. Like I feel like Sai isn't like, because Sai used to tell me he barely noticed bugs in AC Unity, and like he was more upset about the story than the performance. So certain people notice certain different things.
Yeah,
So.
I just wanted to make sure that I
notice
wasn't
them per se. It's more what stands out and bothers me.
right.
More
Well, when we
so.
talk frame rate drops, you don't really fully know what we're talking about, it seems like, which is good. Like, if you don't notice those things, that's all more power to you.
I know what it is. I'm saying I haven't really noticed it, or it hasn't been jump out extremely noticeable is what I'm saying.
Because the consoles are only 30, I believe, right?
30 frames.
Yeah.
Consoles are.
So
their
on the
cap is 30
console,
frames
if you
per
get
second.
a bad frame drop, you're gonna notice.
No,
it.
the consoles, Fallout 4 on the consoles is targeting 30 frames per second. And there's I mean you could I don't want to talk about this for too much longer.
Yeah, I mean,
but you could go on the internet and you can find an analysis of
analysis
frame rate issues that the consoles have. Like they run through the paces, and some of them drop lower, some of them don't. And the fact is, it all comes down to whether or not you notice it or not. And if you don't notice it, it doesn't affect you that much, then fine, that's great. It's all about you having fun playing the game. So I just wanted to make sure that it wasn't, anecdotally from you guys, it wasn't affecting your enjoyment of the game at all.
No, not at all.
All right,
No.
well that's good. So there's a couple things I want to address, and that's in terms of whether or not they could have done more to push this genre forward. Like they've been making these games for a long time. I mean, when Oblivion came out on consoles, it was groundbreaking to have such a huge game with such detail, such a really long and complex RPG to come out on the consoles. And I think it launched around the time that the Xbox 360 launched. So that was,
right around launch.
Yeah, it was pretty impressive to have it on that generation of consoles to begin with. And then Fallout 3 came out, and that was the first one of those that they did, the first Fallout game that they did from first person, first Bethesda RPG Fallout, and it was groundbreaking in the way that it took that setting and gave it to you from a first person perspective.
All in 3D.
Yeah, all in 3D. The characters were fleshed out. The world was fleshed out. It was amazing.
You're talking about the jump, the technology jump.
Yeah. It was
at that time.
Technically, it was amazing, and it was something fresh and original. It wasn't like you hadn't seen those kinds of games before. I mean, this was before like Borderlands and stuff like that. That these games have established that post-apocalyptic world.
Think of how many there's been since Fallout 3. Like,
Yeah.
Fallout
Yeah,
3
I'm
definitely
telling-
started a
I played
trend.
this over-the-top isometric game. It's called How to Survive, and
I heard
that's
about that.
Yeah, it's a post-apocalyptic world, but it also has zombies involved. But you craft your own weapons. You have to sleep at certain times. Roaming at night's not a really good idea because that's when it was a really good game, and it was post-apocalyptic setting. I love any game that's post-apocalyptic setting. Like I'm even a big fan of Left 4 Dead because of that.
Yeah.
Just mainly because of that post-apocalyptic setting. I think it's a pretty interesting concept.
Yeah, and I feel like Fallout 3 kind of started that trend.
That trend of open world RPG
Post-apocalyptic
games.
settings.
Yeah. Post-apocalyptic settings. That's what I meant to say.
And then Fallout New Vegas came out, and that seems to be pretty divisive. I really liked it, but some people that like Fallout 3 didn't like New Vegas. But for better or worse, it was pretty much another Fallout 3. It was the same template, the same
Graphics
kind of
engine.
settings and things like that. Not too big of not a whole lot of improvements or anything like that. And then Skyrim came out, which was a huge financial success for critical and financial for Bethesda, and it was a follow-up to Oblivion, and that was seen as really great and did a lot to improve upon the foundations that Oblivion established. But
At the same time,
Yeah.
buggy as shit.
yeah, I mean,
Like,
the PlayStation 3 version at launch was just a train wreck.
I used to be an adventurer like you once, but then I took
And
an
I
arrow
took an arrow
to the knee.
Yeah. But they're unique games in that everything's clockwork. Every NPC has a set schedule. They go to bed, they get up, they go to work. You can see them walking the streets of the cities and everything like that. And they've been doing that for a while now. They've been doing that since Oblivion.
Actually, Ryan, can I was actually reading a history thing the other day. Wasn't it Morrowind that Bethesda started?
Yeah, so Morrowind was the first. I think it was the first one that was first person and fully 3D.
Yeah,
But-
it was on the OG Xbox.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And PC, of course.
And I heard that was they originated that template on that game, and then they kept
that was,
building.
and then Oblivion was just like that.
Yeah.
To the max.
Yeah.
I don't think they had the scheduling system because I remember when
Probably
Oblivion was coming out, one of the big things that they were talking about was every NPC has a schedule. He'll go to bed and
Yeah.
he has a bed and he gets up and they're married and blah 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 blah.
No, to think of I got to give those guys credit, to have that many moving parts at
Right.
all times.
But all throughout all of these games, it's the same story. Look at all of these bugs.
Yeah.
Like here's this game that doesn't launch with that great performance. I remember playing Skyrim on the PC, and I don't remember if what I had was really a decent PC at the time. That was quite a long time ago. But
Not
there
that
was
long ago.
it was
Like
it
4
was-
years ago.
It was before I was really getting into understanding whether or not I had a good PC. It was like, hey, here's some parts, I'll put them together and see if it works. Anyway, the game was heavily CPU dependent, which is something that a lot of people didn't take too kindly to, especially on the PC, because that's when PC graphics cards were getting all the headlines like, here's the new NVIDIA graphics card, that's awesome. So you go out and you buy it, and then this flagship game from Bethesda doesn't even really utilize it that much. In fact, there was a mod that somebody made that completely recompiled the entire game that put a lot of weight off of the CPU and put it onto the GPU that I think Bethesda ended up taking and putting it into an official patch on the PC version. And I think they also pushed that version out to the console versions. So that's
I hope that dude got paid.
yeah, that's credit to definitely the modding community, which is something that these games have had for right along.
Well, now there's mod support for the consoles.
Yeah, they're gonna be rolling out mod support for that too. I don't know.
I'm very interested to see how it ends up performing on the consoles.
Yeah, I don't
I
know how
heard-
they're gonna roll it out because that's gonna be a hard thing to
Yeah.
manage with consoles.
I heard that it was going to be limited, though. They were
Yeah,
not
yeah.
gonna
Yeah,
get as many as you would in the PC realm.
Yeah, the
Oh, no.
PCs. I mean, the people are already pumping out mods for that, and it's not even officially launched on the Steam Workshop or anything like that.
Yeah, I'm waiting till the Steam Workshop, before I start downloading any mods because I just want to play it in its most raw original form first, and then really
then mess with it.
experiment. Yeah, exactly.
So
Definitely.
what I want to come around to on this topic is whether or not Fallout 4 is doing enough to differentiate itself from the games that have come before it. Is Bethesda pushing forward as much as they should to, make sure these games don't come out as buggy as they have in the past, or make sure they don't? It doesn't seem like on paper anyway. It seems like they copy and pasted Fallout 3 and then added some new features to it. Should they be like going back to the drawing board and starting over and making something fresh?
Why fix something that's not broken, though?
Well, I'll tell you what. I'm playing this game quite a bit, and I'm already getting bored with it because I've already played Fallout 3 before.
Oh.
And
Really?
Hit 'em hard.
Really? Is that how you feel?
that's how I'm feeling right now. It's
This isn't. We're not all going to be kissing Bethesda's ass this whole podcast. Anyway.
To me, it's too similar to Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas to keep my attention for as long as those games have. I put probably probably about 150, 175 hours into Skyrim, and I don't know how long I put into Fallout 3 or New Vegas, but I don't see myself putting that amount of time into this game. I just don't see it. It's too... The animation is too clunky for me. The characters, the way they move, the way their mouths don't necessarily match their text, doesn't really do it for me anymore. Back with Skyrim, back with Fallout 3, that stuff was revolutionary to have mouths that match even close to what the person was saying. But now... we have stuff like, we have games coming out like The Witcher. We have games coming out like Metal Gear Solid 5 that they take the open world and they've refined it to a point where it doesn't even feel like an open world anymore. It feels like every little thing every character, everything you do is as meaningful as meaningful as the main quest line in something like Skyrim or Fallout.
Well, here's the thing. The reason why I enjoy Fallout so much, even with all of its glitches, with all of its issues, like that to me doesn't bother me at all. It's because, like I said earlier, it creates an experience, and you're in another world. Just enjoy that experience while you have it. You know what I mean? And I can't, sometimes the bugs can be quite annoying. Like, I posted a video on Gamerholics earlier today of the companions. Like, the companions are fucking, pardon my French, the companions are dumb.
Yeah, no, there's definitely some issues there.
And I will say that's an issue, because in that video you saw Dogmeat walk into a guarded laser hallway.
Yeah,
and
then you
blew
get killed.
you up. Yeah, and if you sometimes forget to save, that's it. I mean, you have to back travel that shit.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, this is definitely a manual save game. There are pretty liberal autosaves, but if you're out in the world and you forget to save, you could go 20, 30 minutes. Without having an autosave, and then you lose all of that. I mean, who knows how much you lose. But I'm not too... I'm like I said, I come from the Fallout 3 Skyrim world where if I don't have a manual save option, I'm freaking out because I'm saving all the time anyway. Like, every time I go into a cave, every time I go into a building, I'm doing a manual save just in case I need to roll back.
I don't always save. I know that's kind of stupid of me, but I kind of look at it as challenging in a way. I don't know.
Yeah, you can actually make the challenge for yourself more.
But
just
see,
by
that
not
was
doing that.
One of the things with the glitches and everything that I wanted to get at was that pulls you out of the experience. Like, you're having this, like, you feel like you're in the world and you're exploring this wasteland, and then all of a sudden you shoot an enemy and he goes flying up into the air and flips out and disappears into who knows where, and it's like, oh yeah, I'm playing a video game.
It's like, that was funny, but it also broke the immersion.
Yeah, it broke the immersion, and I don't know, I feel like me personally, I need more refinement in these games. Like, if Fallout 5 comes out or the next Elder Scrolls comes out, and it's just another one of these with the same kind of bugs, the same kind of
I'm enjoying
overall look and feel to everything. It's cool to have another one of these because I have good memories of those kinds of games. But I don't know. Like I said, I feel like I'm getting close to my limit on how much I'm enjoying my time with it.
I don't know. I enjoy it.
Well, Sage, you're still early, right? Like
I'm only maybe like 12 hours in right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so for that game, that's early still.
I think I'm like
Yeah.
between 25 and 30 hours in.
Wow. I didn't know you felt this way, though. This whole time we're talking about it in Gamerholics. I'm like, whoa, he's probably enjoying it just as much as me. No, I
like I'm saying, I'm not saying this is...
Well, Ryan's like conflicted, I think.
Yeah, I'm conflicted because I'm not...
Because you're not like hating it. Either.
No, I'm not hating it.
No.
I mean, it's a completely fine game. It's just I'm disappointed that it wasn't more. I'm disappointed that... Because like I said when I started this out, Oblivion on the consoles, Fallout 3, these were groundbreaking experiences that totally pushed the genre forward, and this feels like them being lazy, like them just, not looking to push the genre forward. Like they're on these new consoles, they have more horsepower than they've ever had, and yet this thing comes out and it's just as broken as the old ones were. It's the performance for some is an issue. People are complaining about it. I wish it was, like, even if they just put that extra level of polish, like if they did QA like every other company does and make sure it has half as many bugs as it does now when it launches, I think that would go a long way to, stop that from being the thing that you see in the headlines when you open up Facebook or whatever, just seeing, here's this.
It kind of goes full circle, guys. Like what Ryan was saying, Oblivion and Fallout 3, they were brand new, and there were no other games out there like it when they came out.
Sure.
But a lot has happened in the industry within the last 7 years. There's been a lot, Bethesda's not the only, guy in town. Like,
yeah, they're not the only ones peddling these kinds of experiences anymore.
And
Right.
no,
of course
I
not.
don't know about Sage, but I know Sai hasn't played The Witcher. But, there's other games now that have kind of set your expectations higher.
I haven't played The Witcher. I've heard
I
good
mean,
things
that
about it,
could be a lot of where I'm coming from.
Like Ryan's, because he's actually played an RPG, arguably bigger, and a lot less buggy. I would imagine. I know Witcher had its own issues.
Yeah, it had
but
it had
it had
issues
plenty
here.
of issues.
But-
I don't know. I respect it for what it is. So you got to remember. I look at it because it's buggy, but this is Fallout, man. I
think that's what the major fans probably look at it like. That's probably why Bethesda seems to get more of a pass from people than, say, Rocksteady did earlier in the year, or whoever else that.
Because they still do a good job of presenting a decent product, but
Definitely.
I just
and I'm not saying that they're not
that's
good
just-
at
it's-
presenting it.
no, I'm not. I know you're not saying that.
Yeah,
but
I'm
I
not.
just-
What I'm saying is is the way that they present it good enough anymore? And not even whether it's good enough for anymore. It's whether or not they should just be doing the same thing over again, because they have the ability to be revolutionary.
Yeah.
They have the ability to not have somebody say this is like Fallout 3 with better graphics. They have the ability to do more than that because they have in the past.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
They just didn't like the push from 3 to 4. Didn't seem to be that same.
Yeah, it just didn't seem to be.
And I guess
as big of a step forward as I would have liked to see.
For certain people, they're like, well, these guys have been working on this game for how long? At least 5 years, and then it comes out and it's still buggy like that.
Yeah, and it's like, if this had come out last year, with a year that arguably wasn't that great for games, like there was some decent games, but it wasn't as good as this year has been. This year has been incredible in terms of games.
Yeah.
If it had come out last year, would I have a different outlook on this game? Maybe. I think it would have been no question if it came out last year, up there for Game of the Year. That's for sure. As far as comparing it to like Shadow of Mordor or things that were Dragon Age Inquisition, I think it's better than those games. But like I played The Witcher earlier this year. And in my opinion, if you played The Witcher and you enjoyed it, RPGs are,
They're evolving.
yeah, it's basically it's a as big of a step forward in my opinion as Oblivion was when that came out, or Fallout 3 when that came out. It's like there are games that came out after The Witcher and there are games that came out before The Witcher. Just like there are games that came out after Fallout 3 and games that came out before Fallout 3.
Now that I'm looking, because I'm like, man, let me see what everybody's saying, because I haven't really looked.
Yeah.
So I Google, and I wanted to find out the reasons why people didn't think it sucked. So I put in Google why Fallout doesn't suck. Well, nothing positive has been said about this game. There's all you see is great games that actually suck. Fallout 4. Why Fallout 4 sucks review. If the rumors are true and Fallout 4 actually sucks, I mean, what the fuck?
Well, I mean that's the internet. They're gonna shit on anything for a clickbait headline, or everyone's doing like the 7 things that suck about Fallout 4. That's the flavor of the week. But
well, first of all, I think you guys have to keep in mind, negative news gets shared and gets viewed much more prominently.
Yeah, that's
than
what I'm saying.
positive
Yeah.
news.
So it's all like.
So I mean, but that's
clickbait.
probably happy with all of it, anyways. Whether if it's negative or not, they're getting a lot of money out of it.
Well,
but
dude,
still, I understand what you're saying. You want something new. You want something different. You're getting tired of all the glitches.
That's what I love about this hobby, is that you get these completely new experiences. Like, movies are movies. You go to the movies, and to a certain extent, it's the same thing. Like,
but I think that's what Bethesda was capitalizing on, honestly.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's why they're not really too much in a rush to fix a lot of these issues, because there are people who enjoy them.
Yeah.
I mean, they're from a personal standpoint. Like, I don't care even if I have to start the whole thing over. It's an experience.
Yeah.
Like, it would suck at first, but when I think about it, you know what? I really like the company. I love the product that they offer.
Mm-hmm.
Even with all the glitches, I can see past that. I think that's what makes it Fallout.
Yeah, and that's one thing.
Like, you actually find entertainment out of the glitches. So.
My God, yes.
Yes. So.
And that's one of the things you can't. No matter what, you can't say that Bethesda isn't a legitimate company. They're honest. They put out things that their fans enjoy. That's for sure.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
And I don't want anybody to think that I hate this game. Ryan hates this game. I hate Ryan because he hates this game.
Ryan hates this game.
Yeah, Ryan hates Fallout 3.
No,
Fallout 4. I love Fallout 3. Ryan hates Fallout 4. That's not what I'm saying. I just wish that there was a little bit more to it than just more Fallout 3 plus base building.
In Boston.
Well, it's pretty much. Somebody made a good analogy earlier today. It's pretty much Minecraft when you think about it, because you're building a home. You got a whole gardening thing. It's literally Minecraft.
Yeah,
Except
it's like
you're not
they took
having
Fallout
to
3 and they put Minecraft in it. I mean, you even have mobs. I mean, you have super mutant suiciders, so that's like the creepers, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they run at you, they blow up.
Yeah.
I mean, a smaller scale, but still, yeah. I mean,
yeah.
But at the same time, going back, who else really offers like a Fallout type experience other than Bethesda? So.
Yeah, and it's its own unique thing still. I mean, no one's kind of done the same level of like interaction with every little cup and plate and spoon and everything like that. But
I will say that some of the crafting elements are a tad bit for example, you take apart an oven, all you get is steel, maybe some copper, right? So there's screws in that. Yeah. Why didn't I get any screws out of that?
Yeah, ovens. Yeah, obviously ovens should have more stuff. Right now, I just not too long ago, I remembered that somewhere in the tutorial it told you that you could highlight specific material. So when you go and you pick it up in the world, it puts a little magnifying glass next to things that have something that has copper in it, something that has screws, something that has crystals or something like that. And, I forgot how to do that because they said it way back at the beginning of the tutorial. And I had to go online and say, how the fuck do you do this? And all it was this very subtle button prompt at the bottom of your inventory that I didn't even know changed when you switched from screen to screen. So, if there's somebody out there wondering how to do that, it is possible to. Because what ended up happening was I was just collecting every single little piece of every single bit of junk, even if I didn't know if I needed it, and I was getting over encumbered in like 2 minutes. So I was
that was happening to me as well.
Oh, here's
until
a bucket.
I got strong.
Yeah, I mean you can bump up the strength, but
no, I mean the mutant, the super mutant.
Oh yeah, because you can give him stuff. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's just as much of an idiot as dog meat. He really is.
I'm using Nick right now. Nick Valentine.
Yeah, Nick Valentine.
He's a pretty good character, I gotta say.
Companions. No, he is. I so far I think he's one of my favorite characters in the Fallout series. Believe it or not.
He's pretty cool, and there was that news reporter Piper, who's a pretty good character too. She's got like a full personality and everything like that.
She's definitely got spunk. I'll tell you that.
Now, have you guys noticed in Fallout 4 that you can't just kill someone off?
No, that's
what do you
because
mean?
I'm not a sociopath.
I'm not a sociopath either, but
No,
here's the thing. In Fallout 3, there was a major character in order for me to finish a certain mission. Well, he died. I couldn't finish the mission.
Mm-hmm.
I'm noticing Fallout 4, no matter what, whoever's part of the main mission won't die unless it's part of the story.
Yeah, that's something they added in either Fallout New Vegas or Skyrim, where you can't kill main mission people. Yeah. You can't do it. They'll knock out. They'll go unconscious or whatever, no matter how much you beat them up. Because, I mean, it would sometimes happen by accident, like if a raiders attacked a village and they accidentally got caught in the crossfire and died, then you'd be screwed because you wouldn't be able to either complete a mission or you wouldn't be able to start a mission. So they decided to make it so they just go unconscious. Like your companions can't die. They get beat up. They take a knee.
Maybe they should just let that be an option.
Yeah, they should, because like there are sometimes people I hate. I hate them so much. I just want to kill them, and I'll do it.
Yeah, because they know like a majority of these players aren't gonna even finish the story. People are just gonna screw around, side quests, kill people, whatever.
Yeah,
Sure.
Exactly.
Well, they got enough feedback the opposite
to
decide that we're gonna put it in this thing where main important characters can't die. They only get knocked out.
That sucks.
Yeah, I mean it's
I mean it's
at least for my part anyway.
Yeah, it sucks until you get that quest where you accidentally killed somebody.
But there's so many other
3 hours ago.
That happened to me once.
Yeah, but what if you get a really cool gun on that quest?
There's so many other cool guns. Like,
what if it's the coolest gun? Like, it's literally called the coolest gun, and it kills everything with one shot on screen.
I could live without it.
Oh man, that's a really cool gun, though.
Just to kill that guy, man.
Ryan, there are many ways to kill people in that game, though.
There are, but there's only
one.
one the coolest way, and that's with the coolest gun.
the coolest gun in the world.
All right. Is there anything else anybody wants to talk about with Fallout 4?
No, I'm gonna go cry because I'm so upset that you're so sad.
Oh, don't
so
cry.
sad with it.
Don't cry. I'm not that upset. That's
just
okay.
As happy as me. No, I'm kidding.
There are other games. I'll survive. I'll survive the wasteland that is the video game.
Well,
landscape.
I guess I should probably play Witcher then, because I mean,
dude, there isn't a single game other than maybe Metal Gear Solid 5 that I would recommend that you play this year if you haven't.
I don't know if I would want to play Metal Gear Solid 5 because I haven't. I only played the first Metal Gear Solid.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know.
Those
any
two
of
games
the
are the best. They're
Witcher,
awesome.
Witcher, you don't really need previous experience with the other two. It helps,
you can
I guess,
you can
but-
totally jump into that one, and
Really?
yeah, they do an okay job of explaining some of the important things in the past, and it's totally okay to go online and look like, what happened in The Witcher 2 that I should know about when I play The Witcher 3, because the game, while having like reoccurring characters and some reoccurring storylines, it's primarily its own thing. It's a totally original storyline. So, unlike Metal Gear, which every one kind of feeds into the other one, and if you just jump in the middle of it, you're like, what the fuck is going on here?
Because I tried to play Sons of Liberty, and it was
okay.
all over the place. After
Yeah.
I had already played the first, I didn't play any other one, and I tried playing Sons of Liberty, and it was all over the place. I could not
Yeah.
catch up with the story at all.
I would say that Sons of Liberty is probably the most all over the place Metal Gear Solid game. It's the most different, in my opinion.
Yes, I was very different.
I mean, if you jump into 4 without playing any other games, I'm sure you would not have a very good time. But at least it's not as completely insane as Metal Gear Solid 2 was.
Raiden.
Yeah.
That's all I can say about that one.
Yeah, man. I mean, if anybody out there that has not played The Witcher 3 is thinking about it or on the fence, just go out and get it.
It might be the kind of game you'd enjoy with your girlfriend, Sage.
Yeah,
Well, maybe.
I don't know if she'd like, because there's a lot of like dialogue and drama and
She likes
hilarious
to play
sex scenes.
Don't Starve. She likes gathering games.
Oh,
I
Don't
really
Starve's a
think
good
she would
game.
like Fallout.
Don't Starve's a really good game.
I enjoy Don't Starve.
I played
have
that
lot of
quite a
fun.
bit
And it's
a little while
super
ago.
creepy. I've almost pissed myself.
Yeah, there's
playing
some
that
weird
game.
stuff.
When I first started, anyways.
Yeah.
Now I know everything that's going on over there because I'm a pro. Just kidding.
All right, well, I think that's going to wrap up our Fallout 4 discussion. After the break, we're going to talk a little bit about the new Tomb Raider game and the Nathan Drake collection and how they stack up to each other. And we're back. So, besides Fallout 4, another game came out this week that is really, really pretty great. I've been playing Rise of the Tomb Raider, which is the second Crystal Dynamics game since they've rebooted this series. And this game is certainly as good as the 2013 reboot, which I thought was really good. And they took this to the next level in every way possible. So just to get out of the way, this is a timed Xbox One exclusive. It's out on Xbox One right now and Xbox 360. It will be coming to PC sometime in like the spring of 2016 and will be coming out on PlayStation consoles, whether it be PlayStation 3, I'm not sure, but at least PlayStation 4 next holiday season.
Yep. Oh,
So-
it's on the 360 too.
Yes, yeah, I mentioned that.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Like, cause I don't know. It's just
Yeah,
funny
it's easy to miss. It's easy to forget that for some reason this is probably one of the last ones that are coming out on old generation as
Yeah.
well as new generation. I hope anyway.
yeah.
I don't know what that version is. I haven't seen too much about it, but the Xbox One version is pretty great. They changed the style up a little bit where the last one was a very linear experience. There were a couple areas where it opened up a little bit, but this one takes that to the next level where you have pretty big open hub areas where you have things to collect, tombs to explore. There's way more tombs, so that's a good thing. That was something that a lot of people complained about the first one. There were tombs, but there weren't that many, and they weren't all that elaborate, in my opinion, anyway.
Well, it wouldn't be a Tomb Raider if they didn't have any tombs, my friend.
Sure. Yeah. So they capitalized on that. They brought that up to the next level, and I find that the way that they've built the world, the way that they've done the progression, kind of makes for a really good game. They take a Metroid style approach to it, where you'll come across a doorway that you can't open until you find like rope arrows or explosives or something like that. So you make like a mental note. It's like, all right, when I get this rope arrow, I'm going to have to come back to this spot so I can get in here and get the special, access the new tomb or get some more XP because there's cool shit in there.
It gives you a reason to go back to previously explored areas and
And I'm a big fan of that style of gameplay where you're encouraged to go back and actually figure out what's in these things.
Even if it's just little things.
Yeah,
or if it's just like an XP boost. I don't know, like because you and I put out that video the other day.
Yeah, we did a run. Me and Drew did a rundown of a section of the game, so you guys can have an idea of how it's structured and how it looks, how it plays, and everything like that. You can check that out on thegamerholics.com. And yeah, I think that gave a pretty good idea. We ran through a tomb. We did some combat.
Yep.
The combat's pretty much the same. It's not too different.
Yeah, I mean, I thought in the reboot the combat was buttery smooth, really. Like,
yeah, it was good. It was good, and I think they added some. Was stealth part of the original? I don't remember that.
You could go behind them and like strangle them with the bow in that one, but I think they added like jumping from the trees with a knife and bush kills and all those stuff. They added a lot of stealth kills.
Yeah, it seems
So.
they seem to have fleshed out the stealth mechanic quite a bit. Like you can hide in, like Drew said, hide in bushes, and it almost feels a little bit like Assassin's Creed-ish, where you're jumping from high up and killing people and stuff like that. Anyway, yeah, so we got that video up there, and it gives you a good idea of what to expect. So this is running on the Xbox One, and I think the performance is pretty good. There's been a couple weird spots actually, like during cutscenes where I've noticed the frame rate dropping a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But the game's beautiful. Like the backdrops and the way the characters move, the way the weather effects look. Laura's modeled really well. She her movements and everything looked very natural.
Yep.
And I think it's a really great looking game that has really great gameplay, like pretty deep gameplay loop, and a interesting world to explore that, I think it really all came together. And with the timing with Fallout 4, I'm a little worried it's going to get overlooked. I hope it's getting really good reviews, so word of mouth out there is good that it's a positive experience. But maybe after Fallout hype cools down, maybe sales will pick up around the holidays or something like that. But
yeah, Ryan, I think that's a foregone conclusion because this is Tomb Raider. It's a very well-known title. It's not it's not a new game that just came out. It's pretty well known. Mm-hmm. So I don't think there's a huge chance it's going to get overlooked. That's just me, though.
That's true, yeah. It's definitely got brand recognition.
But not necessarily as an Xbox game, though. That's the thing.
Well, yeah,
if it was a multi-plat like it should have been, like I'm not going to get into the whole exclusive deal. I think it would, the sales would be a lot better and there wouldn't be so much anger because there's still people that refuse to buy that game on the Xbox just because of that whole issue.
Well, that's pretty stupid. They shouldn't do that.
No, I know, but
that's a stupid reason not to buy a game. You should buy a game because you like it, not because of what platform it's on. If you don't have an Xbox, that's fine.
Well, yeah, I think that's more like people aren't going to pony up the money for a console just for one game.
You could be upset about that. Like, I don't have an Xbox. I'm not going to go out, and I don't think you should go out and buy a whole console just for one game. This game is great, but I don't recommend going out and buying an Xbox One just for this game.
Yeah.
Because it's probably just going to sit for a while if you already have a PlayStation 4 and are enjoying your experiences with that.
But I don't know.
Not to mention the fact that once the Tomb Raider comes out, all the DLC content will probably be out by the time it's on the PS4. Well, so that's another reason you can wait.
Well, yeah. Well, the PS4 versions, it's probably going to have everything already packed in. It'll be like a Game of the Year edition when it comes out.
Yeah, I think you can buy a season pass. I'm not sure what's going to be included in that.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what's going to be included in that in the DLC, but I think they have announced the season pass. Like every game has a season pass now. So yeah, I mean it could come out with everything in it.
Well, you got to think it's like a whole year after.
Yeah, if it doesn't, I think that's going to be a disappointment.
Yeah.
That if you have to buy the game plus the DLC, that would be kind of weird for them to do. And then there's this PC version that's coming out in the spring, and what's going to be included with that? Is all of the season pass going to be out by then, or are you going to get like half this DLC content? Yes. I don't know. I guess we'll see.
Yeah, I don't know. My whole thing with that I thought it was a great move by Xbox when they first locked it down. When you just heard, oh, it's exclusive, it's like that's a great idea. Like competition to Uncharted. That's kind of what they were thinking.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
It's like I just don't personally see the long-term benefit of a timed exclusive And I know that's not really what this podcast is supposed to be about, but I just figured we address it since.
Yeah, I don't really know what the long plan is there.
Like, yes, you have it for a year, which is cool because if people who really want to play it, you got to play it on the Xbox.
Yeah.
You know? But it's like, you guys may as well have just locked it down.
No, actually, I agree. I agree with you on that, Drew. And I don't think it makes sense from an economic standpoint that the creators and the developers of this Tomb Raider game would do that. Because, I mean, again, this doesn't generate more revenue. If anything, I think it generates a little less.
Well, here's the issue.
Microsoft probably paid him a good penny, though.
Here it is right here.
But would that penny have been worth as much even if it was released on the PS4?
All right, listen to Ryan.
Let me get this out here.
No, please.
Tomb Raider 2013 launched to what Square Enix said was not a very good record. It didn't have what they considered to be the sales that they were looking for. So the reason why Microsoft came in and said this was probably more or less to make sure that this game gets made, because
no.
Oh, you don't think that?
Mm-mm.
Why is that?
Because, dude, they ended up reaching the numbers they needed by the time the definitive edition came out, but that's what ended up pushing it over to because they had great sales, but they were hoping to sell 6 million, and they only got 4 originally.
Right. Well,
but the game was already announced before, and
yeah, but what would the scale have been if Microsoft came in and said, well, you're putting in this much money to make Rise of the Tomb Raider. Why don't we give you more money to make a bigger game, to put a little bit more money in this and make the scale a little bit bigger?
But is that just you speculating?
Yeah, of course. I don't know. I don't know
because it makes you wonder what.
I'm just trying to figure out why Square Enix would say, yeah, let's do this.
Yeah.
If it didn't have some sort of significant impact on the development of the game, because otherwise it's if Microsoft didn't come in and give them enough money to make a tangible impact on the game, why would they have agreed to do it if they would have just...
Well, because sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, that's fine.
I really think that they were just thinking we need our own competition to Uncharted, because originally Uncharted was supposed to come out around this time when Tomb Raider launched. It was they were going to go head to head, and of course Uncharted got delayed. But I know that I think Phil Spencer actually said we want our own action game. We don't have this in our library.
Right.
That's how they made it seem. And
that's coming from Microsoft. That's Microsoft's point of view.
Yeah.
But what's
Square Enix's
what's
benefit?
Square's side of this? Why did this make sense for them?
Yeah, I know.
I can't help but imagine that when they look at the numbers that I don't know how much Microsoft paid for the timed exclusivity.
Yeah,
I don't know about
that's
that.
I think that's the big number you have to.
But there had to have been a reason why they looked at the number that Microsoft was offering, compared it to what their analysts say that they would have made if they had released this multi-platform, and said it makes sense to take this money from Microsoft and make it an exclusive.
Yeah.
There had to have been something there, because it's not just like you pick up the phone and be like, it'd be cool if we made this a Microsoft exclusive for a year. Yeah, man, that would be awesome. All right, let's do it. That's just not how it goes. There has to be.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, I would imagine Microsoft made the offer, but
yeah, no,
who knows?
I would have to imagine that too, because they're looking for that.
Yeah.
That hole in their catalog that.
But the fact that it turned out to be a timed exclusive kind of just.
I don't. It's very weird.
That's why this whole situation, and like you said, the PC is coming out in the middle, out of nowhere.
Yeah, I don't know why it didn't launch at the same time on the PC, because they seem to be favoring the PC just as much as their console nowadays.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah,
I don't know. It's strange.
And then
it's a weird situation.
Yeah,
I'm not. From my point of view, it's weird, and
oh yeah, that was another thing, dude. And the fact that they announced the PC and PS4 version before it even dropped on the Xbox, which I honestly think it probably is going to hurt it in the long run.
Well, yeah, I think that was probably more because there was so much backlash from it that they probably had to put some PR out there to be like, hey, calm down, guys. It's coming. We didn't say it was permanently
Yeah.
exclusive. We just said it was
Exclusive.
coming out this fall exclusive to
Yeah.
Xbox
Right.
One or however their wording was.
But wouldn't you think it would make more sense though if they had it launch on the Xbox and then wait a month and then say, oh yeah, by the way, now PS4.
Yeah, it would have. It probably would have been, but that might have been
I
Square
don't
Enix.
think that would have made much of a significant difference, if anything.
Why is that?
I think it would have.
Dude, think about it. People now, as far as people knew beforehand, it was only going to be on the Xbox. That's it.
Right.
All right. And this is before, but then the PS4 and PC get announced, even though it's a year from now, they still know it's down the pipeline. So now people are thinking, oh, maybe now I don't have to get an Xbox One to play this,
Yeah, I mean,
I think you're absolutely right.
which kind of
And
hurts Microsoft. I don't think it probably benefits.
It absolutely hurts Microsoft. But the thing is, we also have to be realistic here. What was the expectation that even if they made it an Xbox exclusive, that it would generate more sales of the X1? I mean, let's be
Well,
frank
the
here.
idea
I mean,
was
this
is
isn't
that-
a Halo. This isn't exactly a Halo.
Well,
it's a
all
good
right.
franchise, but you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Well, and I think what they were planning on is that at this point in the console life cycle, people may be looking to pick up their second console. Like if they went PlayStation 4 first, and maybe they were 360 conversions that went over to PlayStation 4, and they're like, when that holiday season comes out, that the Xbox One is the right price, and all these games are coming out for it, that'll be the year that I get that second console.
Yeah.
When you got
Sure.
Halo coming out like 2 weeks before, you got it like in the middle of all of these other games that aren't exclusives, but people would be looking to buy, like Black Ops and Fallout 4. The timing makes sense, because then it's like when people are looking at the console options, they're like, well, I could get Halo and Gears of War and Fallout 4 and Black Ops and Tomb Raider.
Plus backward compatibility.
Yeah, plus backwards compatibility. That, the Xbox is looking like a pretty good deal.
Oh, wicked.
When you compare, like when you just go direct comparison.
Yeah, so like when you put it in that perspective, then I can see the short-term benefit, and it'll be because Microsoft did just win the MPDs for October. So.
Yeah, they had Halo. I mean, if Halo doesn't do it for them,
Yeah.
then they're never going to do it.
Pretty much.
I mean, that's their number one. Gears of War is pretty big, so that'll
Yeah.
be interesting next year when Gears of War comes out to see how that stacks up to the Halo sales numbers, like which one's their bigger franchise.
Yeah, nowadays
and
anyway.
stuff like that. So
because they're launching Gears with brand new characters and stuff.
yeah.
So I wonder. I don't know. Definitely
Anyway,
Yeah, sorry.
back to
Tomb Raider. I know.
video games and not financials of video games.
Yeah, I was about to say we should probably get on the gameplay and shit of Tomb Raider.
Yeah, so I've said pretty much all I have to say about Tomb Raider specifically. The question is, how is this going to stack up to Uncharted? Because it's obviously a direct competitor to it. It's the same type of gameplay, same type of, I guess I would say, attitude.
Yeah.
I personally, for me, what I think it comes down to is your preference for the story. Now, with that being said, I admit I have not played Tomb Raider. I have played all three of the Uncharteds. So that's kind of why I'm looking forward to Uncharted 4. I want to go see my original characters. I want to see the same gameplay that I've been used to. Maybe
Sure.
some improvements here or there from Naughty Dog.
What sort of
Which is another
misadventures
reason why I like
is
it.
Nathan going to get into this time, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It all has to. That's what I think it comes down to. The main title character, whether you're a Nathan Drake fan or a Lara Croft fan.
Sure.
That's what I think it breaks down to.
Yeah. So, you've been playing the Uncharted collection,
I have indeed, sir.
and you've seen me check it out, Rise of the Tomb Raider.
Yep.
So let's just talk about the Uncharted collection first. Now, you're a big fan of the Uncharted series. I'm assuming you've played through all of them multiple times.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. How is
pla-
this collection? How does this stack up in your mind?
Well, I mean, this collection, it's definitely best or geared towards people who haven't played it before. You can kind of tell.
Yeah.
I think for the people like myself, Sai, who've already played the games, you're not going to be blown away when you see it. I mean, the 1080p, 60 frames per second, it feels a lot smoother.
Yeah.
Definitely, because I obviously I started with the first one, played them in order again.
Mm-hmm.
The biggest improvement is definitely in the original. They kind of made it more in line with the other two, gameplay-wise, aiming-wise. And
Just kind of refined it, right?
yeah, they spruced up the graphics a little bit, but I mean, it still plays the same. All three of them, like, you know, they're just prettier versions of the PS3 games with a couple new modes and trophies added in there, and a new difficulty too.
Okay.
Which I'm kind of interested about, but yeah, no, I think it's a good collection, but I honestly kind of like what you were saying about Fallout. They probably could have done more with it to make it more enticing.
Okay. Well, what could they have done?
Well, I don't know. I see why they didn't include the multiplayer. They probably want Uncharted 4 to be their multiplayer focus.
Okay.
But, you know,
That
lot
would
of
have probably
people...
been a lot more work, too,
Yeah.
to get all that working on PlayStation 4.
Yeah, especially on one disc since they threw all three games on one Blu-ray.
Yeah.
I don't know, like...
So basically, it's a good collection for people who really haven't experienced Uncharted before.
Yeah,
but
which, you know...
for people who have, maybe it's not worth
I think
the full asking price.
Yeah, I'd probably say maybe wait till it goes down a little bit if you're an Uncharted veteran, you've played it. But
Sure.
I still, you know, I think they were worth putting out on, kind of like The Last of Us 2. Like, they were worth putting on the PS4. It looks good in the library, and
Sure.
it's a good way to get people caught up for the fourth game.
Yeah, you were going back to your comment on 1080p 60 frames per second. I remember you had a comment to me about playing, I'm guessing it must have been the Uncharted collection,
Yep.
and then going back to a 30 frames per second game and actually noticing the difference.
Oh, yeah. No, when you're actually playing 60 frames, like, yeah, no, and then, like, yeah, I guess going right from a 60 game to a 30 game, you do notice, at least at first anyway, like,
yeah, and
it's
that's
man,
what
it's
it is for
slower.
me. It's like,
You know,
if you play a 60 frames, if you say play 60 frames per second games consistently,
yeah,
then you go to, like, immediately go to a 30 frames per second game, you feel a difference.
Yeah.
You feel that.
it feels almost less responsive, even though that's pretty much not the case. It just feels that way because you're...
It's, it feels almost... the best way to describe it is, like, is this going in slow motion?
Yeah.
For a little while.
Yeah.
Eventually you get used to it.
Yeah, until you adjust.
But, you know, it's like going from DVD to VHS.
Yeah.
It's like you put in a DVD, you're like, yeah, this looks good. It's not any better than VHS. Then you put in the tape, and you're like, holy crap. What the hell was I talking about?
Yeah.
This is like night and day.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'd say it depends on the game.
Yeah,
Like,
well, and like I said, it's only for that brief moment where it is that. It's,
but
it's 30 frames per second.
That first transition, and I can definitely see like why people prefer 60 overall, especially for the first Uncharted game there, Drake's Fortune. I could definitely tell like it made the aiming smoother, more pinpoint, accurate. And
it really is a game-to-game basis. Like
Yeah.
Uncharted and Tomb Raider, they don't necessarily need to be 60 frames per second
No.
because you don't have to have the super fast timing and everything like that. But you know, games like Call of Duty and everything, they target that 60 frames per second because you need that instant responsiveness. You need that extra
especially
little
in
bit
multiplayer.
that extra little bit of what it basically it's hard to like realize, but it actually does increase the speed at which your button press appears on the screen. That's what it improves. It's like you see the reaction of your button press faster in 60 frames per second.
Yeah.
Now, it's unless you're playing real professional and you're analyzing every single frame, you're probably not going to notice it too much.
No.
But it is what it does for games that are competitive like that. It gives you that little bit of more responsiveness that
Like you can move the camera way quicker. You know, it's just little things that actually it just makes it feel so much smoother.
So when we take a look at Rise of the Tomb Raider and we don't know what Uncharted 4 is going to be.
Yeah.
But from what's been announced and everything, do you think that these games are going to be similar, or do you think Tomb Raider has kind of started to carve out its own niche in this kind of adventure game genre?
Definitely. Like, I don't. Yeah, they're similar. Well, it's kind of funny because the original Uncharted was heavily inspired by Tomb Raider, obviously, and the original thing they were like calling it Dude Raider, and that was that whole joke. But and the first game was kind of. It was probably the most similar to a Tomb Raider type experience.
Yeah.
But, and then Uncharted ended up kind of upending Tomb Raider and becoming the, Indiana Jones modern day type game. And in the Tomb Raider reboot, you could obviously tell they took a lot of inspiration from the Uncharted series.
Yeah.
Just kind of the way, just third-person cover shooting and set pieces.
Yeah,
and,
I mean, almost to a fault.
Yeah.
I mean, it was...
high production
that
values.
first one was very linear, like the Uncharted games.
Yeah.
And, even the shooting and stuff felt very similar to the Uncharted games.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, I don't know if you played any of the Tomb Raider games before that, but the shooting was always pretty horrible before they...
Yeah. No.
So, I mean, they definitely refined the gameplay. But at the same time... Tomb Raider is carving out its own little thing because there's definitely the new Uncharted is supposed to be more open. Battles are supposed to be more dynamic, but
Yeah.
I don't see it being like a collectathon like you can be with Tomb Raider.
Okay.
I don't see Nathan Drake raiding tombs like that and having side missions.
Yeah, I mean...
Despite the fact he is a treasure hunter.
Yeah. Well, I mean, all three Uncharted games, you had like 100 treasures to find throughout the world. That was like the extent of...
They were just like a little bit off the beaten path,
Yeah.
right? They weren't like inside complicated tombs or anything like that.
No. But, well, there was... I don't know. There was like very well hidden ones. You'd have to like... You'd barely catch it blinking and you'd have to like shoot it down.
Oh,
But
okay.
like, besides that, yeah.
Nothing quite as elaborate as what they've... Especially with Rise of the Tomb Raider, where
Yeah.
they've made these hub worlds. They've made it so you can almost play it the way you want, as opposed to like especially the first one, which is very much a linear experience.
Yeah, I mean, the reboot, you could go back into the old hub worlds and check things out in that one too, but they've just made it that much bigger in this new one.
Yeah,
and they've just kept. So no, I and plus like the Uncharted games, like. The skills you start out with Nathan Drake are this at the beginning of the game. It's the same skills you have at the end.
Okay.
Like there's no upgrading. You find different weapons as you go, and it's very simple and straightforward. And there's no backtracking.
Okay.
Really, like
in Tomb Raider, there's like some RPG stuff.
Yeah, like Tomb Raider, Tomb Raider brought the whole, like everything you do just gets Laura better, and
Yeah.
So
collecting
I actually
skins and stuff like that.
No, I'll be the first to say, like, I think in many ways Tomb Raider has an upper hand on Uncharted. I think the only thing they probably lack is the story and characters, because that's what Uncharted's always been known for, is its awesome characters and like their storytelling and cinematography and all that.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to actual gameplay, I probably give Tomb Raider the edge, especially now, but we'll see what Uncharted does for us. It should be interesting.
Yeah, so I find it a little bit interesting that I've kind of taken to these Tomb Raider games, but I have not been able to really get into an Uncharted game because, the 2013 Tomb Raider was very much going for that style of gameplay, and it clicked for me almost immediately, where I've tried to play Uncharted 1 and Uncharted 2, and it just hasn't grabbed me.
Yep.
And I don't understand what the difference is.
Well, could it be the story that maybe it doesn't appeal to you?
No, Ryan's
could
a gameplay guy though.
Yeah, I don't think the story, because the story in Tomb Raider wasn't that great. It was okay. It moved it forward, but I definitely see that.
What, in Rise or the other one?
No, the first one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I haven't really. I've played just enough of Rise of the Tomb Raider to know that the story is pretty interesting.
Yeah.
But not enough to know whether or not it concludes.
Yeah, no, that
well
was
or
probably one
anything
of the
like
weaker aspects of the reboot was the overarching plot.
Yeah.
Like Laura's character development in that game was awesome.
Yeah.
It was just more like, I think it was more her side characters and companions they were just kind of like bland and
Yeah, it wasn't. They weren't too interesting. But yeah, I don't think it's the story because, like, even in this one, I'm kind of interested in the story, but it's really not what's driving me forward. It's definitely the gameplay and like going from,
honestly, dude,
set
like
piece to set piece.
if I were to take one guess, Tomb Raider's a mature rated title, and
Yeah.
like the violence is a little more, or not even the violence, like I don't know.
I think it's maybe the tone.
Yeah,
Like,
maybe the tone
it's-
and like the combat in some ways in Tomb Raider feels a little bit more satisfying. When you nail that headshot, like you feel like great, and it's a little more methodical in Tomb Raider. You have a little bit more choice. As like Uncharted, you kind of just get thrown into like a pile of guys. You don't, sometimes you have a chance to do stealth, but like
So maybe it's like more a little, at least maybe a slight more feeling of options.
yeah,
That's doing it for
might
me.
be that, or I don't know, like
So one thing that I've in Tomb Raider is the same way that like this is criticism for both Tomb Raider and Uncharted, and I think it's one reason why I sometimes shy away from these games, and that's the cinematic element to it.
yep,
I think it looks really cool when there are these cool cinematic sequences where you're like sliding down a cliff or some vehicles chasing you down an alleyway and it blows up or something like that.
Mhm.
The problem I have with these sequences is a lot of them require you to do like quick time events or something at different parts of it.
yeah,
And if you miss one of those quick time events, all of the excitement of that is gone.
yeah.
Because you die and then you just have to do it all over again.
Yeah,
and it's like you
failed
lose
the script. You failed the script.
You lose that excitement that you would have gotten like if it was a movie where
Yeah.
the Tom Cruise is jumping out of a helicopter, landing on a building, the building explodes while he's falling down it, but Tom Cruise forgets to press X, so the movie rewinds and starts over or something like that. You don't. That's probably, in all honesty, my biggest issue with these games is that I wish it was more like either these things are played without me controlling them at all, and it just happens, or they're not as scripted to be like this very, very intricate escape sequence where you have to jump from platform to platform as everything's collapsing around you, and then you miss that last jump because it's a little bit farther than you were expecting, so then you die and you have to do the whole thing over again.
Yeah.
I wish it was just if you want to show me a cool movie, a cool action sequence, just do it. Just show it to me and don't make me feel like I'm being penalized because I didn't perform your action sequence exactly how you wanted me to do it.
Okay. Yeah. No. I see your point. I think the whole reason why it was kind of like people were getting bored of quick time events and cuts, like long ass cutscenes. It was kind of a way to make the gamer feel more involved with these crazy things that are going on.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like you at least need I got to bring over that collection because I still have it at home.
Yeah, I got to check that out
Tomb
with
Raider-
you.
I mean,
with you
Uncharted-
guiding me through it.
Yeah.
So as soon as I'm like, oh, this is stupid, you could be like, well, this is why this is cool. So
Yeah.
I can just have a different perspective on it.
Yeah, like Uncharted 2 and 3, like I still think those guys still have like the best, like those kind of set pieces better than Tomb Raiders.
Yeah.
Like Tomb Raiders are still cool, but I don't know. But I know what you're talking about though. You might miss one thing and then it's like, oh, now I'm doing it over and now that excitement.
Now the excitement's out of it.
So,
I've done this before.
But at the same time, I don't know. Like there's a scene in Uncharted 2, one building is collapsing into another.
Yeah.
And like all you really got to do is just jump through that window.
Yeah.
Like that, before the whole thing collapses. And like I think when they first made that, they're like, all right, most players should be able to see like, all right, you got to jump there to escape this. Like it's kind of like common sense, but at the same time they don't always explain that to you right away. So
and sometimes
it's a balancing act.
That's some of the issue too. Is like I don't like, and like I said, I feel like I'm being punished for not knowing that I was supposed to jump to that platform instead of that platform.
Yeah.
And that kind of goes with any game that I have to keep replaying sections over. That's probably why I don't like the Dark Souls series.
Yeah.
It's because it's just trial and error over and over and over again.
Yeah.
And I just
Yeah, I mean,
I just don't have the patience for it.
see, I've never had that much because Uncharted's platforming to me has always been very forgiving and
Yeah.
like,
Well, no, I mean, I'm not comparing the two.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
comparing the two in the sense that you have to keep
Yeah.
repeating these sections over again.
yeah,
if
no,
you
I
don't
know what
do
you're
it-
saying.
If you don't do it right. I mean, Dark Souls is like 1,000 times harder than Tomb Raider or Uncharted.
Oh yeah,
so,
wicked. Yeah.
Um,
No,
yeah,
but
I mean, that's where I'm coming from. So
yeah, no,
but
I
it's-
see
it's-
both takes.
For some reason, I've, like I said, taken a liking to Tomb Raider that
Yeah.
I haven't for Uncharted. So
I
there has
honestly-
to be something different there.
I think yep. I think it's mostly the gameplay and
Yeah.
the more precise, and maybe the like you said, the openness and the exploration part of
Yeah,
it.
that probably helps. I
think
feel
that-
like there's a little bit more variety to it. Like
Yeah.
it's not. I'm not just going down a.
Yeah, I mean, there's
linear
definitely
path.
like some cool puzzles in the Uncharted series, but they're always part of the story. It's not like
Okay.
a
Yeah,
side
I
thing.
think the puzzles would be cool, and there are puzzles in like platforming puzzles anyway in Tomb Raider. So
Yeah,
yeah. Anyway, I really think that if you have an Xbox One or an Xbox 360, you should go out and grab a copy of Rise of the Tomb Raider because I'm gonna keep playing it, and it's probably going to be on my list of Game of the Year games.
Really?
Probably. Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, I'm going to still play more of it, and there's always a chance that mid-game or
Yeah.
in-game that something happens that totally ruins my experience with it. But right now, when I'm looking at my, say, like top 5 games, this is like 6 or 5 or 6. So
it's legit, man.
yeah. So
It's a very polished game. Like you can just
oh yeah, definitely. Where when you contrast it to Fallout 4, it's
Yeah.
a very polished game.
that's the thing. Like I don't know. I just if they had at least just not released the same day as Fallout.
Yeah, I mean,
just-
they could. I wish they would have done it like a week before. 'Cause
Yeah, just
nothing came out on that Tuesday.
Yeah, right.
Black Ops.
I feel like
I
they just
feel like
hurt
Black Ops was
themselves.
afraid of Fallout 4, so they
Yeah.
released on that Friday. So they could have launched on that Tuesday and at least had the day to themselves.
Yeah.
Or like next week, like right before Thanksgiving. That would be kind of cool.
Mm.
So I don't think there's anything coming out then.
Yeah, and
I don't know. It's just very strange that they chose that particular day.
Yeah, it's that, and I feel like Microsoft didn't really put their full marketing behind the game either, like they could have, to really like push it.
Well, I think they were preoccupied with Halo 5.
Yeah, I know. Like it seems like all these other games kind of overshadow Tomb Raider,
Yeah.
and it's not really Tomb Raider's fault. It's just look how strong the lineup is this fall.
Yeah,
Like
I mean,
all these games.
yeah, like I said, if Fallout 4 had came out last year, I probably would have thought it was
Amazing, yeah.
Yeah, it was certainly Game of the Year last year.
And
But-
pre-Witcher, dude. You didn't have the Witcher
yeah,
to ruin
well, that's
it.
what
you
I'm
know?
saying. It's like now this year's out, and you've got these giant behemoths of The Witcher 3 and Metal Gear Solid 5 that just like, wow.
Mm.
What competition compared to last year when you had, I don't even remember outside of
Well, it was
outside of Shadow of Mordor.
Yeah. Well, Shadow of Mordor, what that wasn't even like on anyone's radar either. That was like
Yeah.
the surprise game. But like everyone was expecting like Watch Dogs and Destiny, I remember, to be
Yeah.
like and those were the two like biggest disappointments.
I mean, Far Cry 4 was really good, but
Yep.
it wasn't a huge step forward that Far Cry 3 was. So
Yeah.
it was great, but it wasn't.
It wasn't
No,
really
it
on
wasn't
many games.
revolutionary.
And Far Cry 3 was superior to Far Cry 4. I'm just going to put that out there.
Yeah, okay. What else was going on? What else was coming out last year that was competing for Game of the Year other than Mordor and Far Cry 4?
Dude, there was something else. Well, Dragon Age.
Oh yeah,
Like,
that's right, Dragon Age.
I remember
That
like
got-
when
that
the
got on
Game
a
of
lot
the Year
people.
awards came out, like Dragon Age was winning like almost all of them.
Yeah.
It's like, oh.
So yeah, that was a big game. Again, that was.
Yeah, but that
I-
wouldn't have been big this year.
Yeah, I don't
you know?
really. I feel like that kind of fell into the same thing with Fallout 4, where it wasn't really a huge step forward. It was more of the same.
Yeah.
Like they went back to more of the Origins route, which a lot of people were looking forward to. But I played a lot of that game, and it got kind of boring pretty
Yeah.
quick. I don't know. That was my opinion on it.
Yeah, because when I hear about everyone, like, I guess 2 was pretty universally hated. The second one.
Yeah, the second one was a very big departure from the
Yeah.
first one, and very narrow in scope compared
Yeah.
to the first one. So that was definitely a step back for that series. And like Inquisition was supposed to get back to more of the roots that Origin set forth. So I think a lot of people liked it, and that's a good thing. So what's on everybody's, like, say, top 5 list this year? So we're gonna have to talk about Game of the Year.
Oh yeah, that discussion's coming up.
Yeah. So what's on everybody's radar? I mean, for me, it's obviously The Witcher 3, Metal Gear Solid 5. I mean, Fallout 4, even though I've been kind of iffy on it. Rise of the Tomb Raider. I think I'm probably gonna put Ori and the Blind Forest on there.
Oh yeah, you got the indies
Okay.
too.
Because that was a
Yeah, there
really
you go.
fantastic game. It wasn't very long, but the time that I spent with that game was probably some of the most enjoyable time that I've had with a game this year.
Did you complete that?
Oh, yeah.
Because I heard it was very difficult.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
some sequences in that game that are don't let the pretty graphics and fairy tale story confuse
Yeah.
you. That's definitely a very tough game to complete. There are some sequences in that require really precision platforming.
Yeah.
And that's another game that's in the Metroid style of
Yep.
gaining your progress based on the abilities you have. So it was a cool thing to explore. You know, you'd revisit the areas, but they looked so great that you're still finding all this little detail, and it was fun to look at over and over again.
Sure.
Like I said, it's like 7 or 8 hour game, so it wasn't a huge game, but it was
Still though, for a smaller title, that's a good length.
very polished. So
No, I heard
that was
nothing but
cool.
good things. Honestly,
good
dude,
game.
like I could see even some people putting soccer cars there. What's the Rocket League? Yeah.
Oh, Rocket! Oh, okay, yeah.
Like
That's a lot of people enjoyed that game. That's for sure. That was a big hit when that came out on PlayStation 4.
Yeah.
That was a free game too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it
that's
started out
that
as a
had a
PS
lot
Plus.
to do with its popularity, I'm sure.
But
So what about you, Cy? What are your, just off the top of your head, what are the best experiences you've had this year so far?
Well, Ryan, I think Metal Gear Solid 5 has got to be up there.
Yeah.
I could very well say that may be the game of the year. I mean, don't get me wrong. I wasn't a huge fan of the last quarter end part of the.
I think we're on the
of
same
game.
page there. A lot of people are, I think, too. That
Right, but and I'm gonna also throw in Fallout 3.
Fallout 4.
4, excuse me.
Yeah.
What the fuck am I saying? Sorry, yeah. Fallout 4
Yeah.
definitely belongs up there. And again, there's a few other games I still have to look into that'll come to mind, but those are the two most recent that I'm giving high props to.
Okay. And Drew, what have you played this year that's really stood
well,
out?
I mean, I don't know. Dying Light was pretty cool.
Dying Light was a good game, yeah.
I think that's kind of I don't know. That's on. I would put that on the list. Nah, I can't put the order there. Let's see.
Yeah, we'll kick you
No,
off.
definitely The Witcher.
The order
though.
was on
Yeah.
there for about as long as it lasted.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I feel like it's really not as short as people like made it out to be.
Yeah, and
Like
it's
I played some short games.
It's more of a focused, polished experience rather than
Yeah.
something that's huge and
It's something that should have just been a launch title. It would have been way more impressive
Sure,
to people.
yeah.
Like the fact that it got delayed, it just kind of put more pressure on it. But no, the definitely The Witcher.
Okay.
Metal Gear probably should be up there. Yeah. What else?
Honestly, another game, even though many
Fallout.
people aren't going to agree with this, is Arkham Knight. I'm putting that on my list.
Yeah,
or
I'm
at
sure
least on my top 10 list.
Yeah,
you see these eyes, Cy? These eyes piercing you about mentioning Arkham Knight on a Game of the Year list?
Look into my eye.
I know. It's so weird. The one time where the PC is the worst version.
That happens a lot. That happens more than gets publicized.
I guess, yeah.
Like Arkham Origins wasn't that great. That had a rocky PC launch.
Well, dude, it wasn't the best on consoles either.
Yeah,
though,
but at least it was a buggy. It was a bug issue on PC. The same thing with not nearly as bad, but a similar situation than Arkham Knight, where the consoles were okay, but when Dark Souls had the same issue when that first came out on PC.
Yeah.
That had a lot of issues, and fans actually had to go in and repair a lot of it with mods and stuff like that. It happens. It just doesn't get like Arkham Knight was a huge game.
Yeah, exactly.
That didn't come out that well on PC, and
there were so many
got
people
the
who-
publicity.
Yeah.
it got the coverage of it. which is good. I'm glad that it did because
Oh, it is good.
now there's a little bit more scrutiny with those kinds of things.
Yeah.
So maybe they'd happen less and less as time goes on. But like, Witcher 3 had an awesome launch, but that's a game that, just like Fallout 4, is more or less catering to the PC crowd because that's where the origins of those kinds of games are. So that they put a little bit. They make it on PC first and then port it to the consoles. Whereas I'm pretty sure Arkham Knight was built on the PlayStation 4 and then ported to PC and Xbox One. I'm pretty sure that's what I heard. That's what Rocksteady did with that particular game.
Yeah, I guess that would. Yeah. PS4 was the main console.
Yeah, PS4 seemed to be the one that at least got the lion's share of the attention anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the Xbox version was fine too.
Because I know they ported the PC version. And usually it's the other way around. Usually the PC version is the one that they build the game on and then port it to the consoles.
Powerful. Yeah.
But
But
anyway,
honestly,
if that's one of your favorite games of the year, that's fine. I'm biased because the PC version of that game was not very good when it came out, and I still haven't really played through it that much. They re-released it on Steam, so that's a step in the right direction. But 6 months later, that's a
I honestly
shame.
I was expecting that game to be on a Game of the Year list, but at this point, it's kind of hard to do that, but not really. But from what I played, it's still great.
I think we're gonna do personal Game of the Years.
Yeah.
We're not gonna say because we all haven't played all the same games.
Well, yeah.
So we're just gonna say these are our personal games of the year, and so Arkham Knight can be on Sai's, but it certainly won't be on mine.
Yeah, no, that's probably.
No, I would hope it wasn't on yours, Ryan.
Yeah.
Just
And
because
Sai hasn't played The Witcher 3, so he's obviously not going to have that on his Game of the Year list, but it will be high on mine.
No, but I'm hoping to change that someday, Ryan. Or
Yeah,
at least
you should definitely check
hopefully
it out.
before the year ends.
Yeah, if you have time to check that out before the year ends, I think that's a game that...
Is that cheaper yet, or is it still at 60?
I'm sure you could probably pick it up, especially used for
a
decent price.
Dude,
I think that's a game that everybody should play because...
You still got another... Who knows how many hours with 2 expansion packs, dude.
Yeah, I know. Well, the second expansion is not coming out this year. That's coming out next year.
It's next year.
I got to check out the new expansion.
Yeah,
I kind of wanted to check that out and revisit that before I say whether or not that's my favorite game of the year or not.
Yeah.
So that's a good excuse to go back and play some Witcher 3.
I heard that's at least another 10 hours. Probably just straight story.
Yeah,
So.
and then, there's, you can explore.
Yeah.
Because I don't think it's a whole new area, but you just explore naturally. You go from one place to another, and you're like, oh, look at this. This is something cool.
Yep.
Let's check this out.
And if I were to put my, I guess, kind of surprise of the year, or, definitely, I put Until Dawn up there, because I don't think anyone expected.
Yeah, you were pretty happy about that game.
Yeah.
I think that's going to actually appear on a lot of people's lists. Because the people had very good experiences with that game, and it kind of was a surprise, I think.
Yeah, no, because I don't
certainly surprise of the year.
Yeah, because I would definitely not call it a game of the year, but a surprise of the year, hell yeah. Surprise hit. Why not?
Some places do that,
I'll be honest, it didn't surprise me because I just had that internal feeling that game might actually be a sleeper hit. I don't know what or why I thought that, but it was just a feeling, a sixth sense, if you will.
You got to give Sony credit. They're good with I don't know. It seems to be their subgenre, the whole cinematic experiences, all different kinds. Even The Order, that's another big cinematic. Except they kind of did it wrong because that's a lot of QuickTime events.
Yeah.
And third-person shooting, the whole Uncharted and Tomb Raider thing we were talking about earlier. They wanted to get rid of QuickTime events and make it so you're actually playing through the sections. But then it runs into your problem. You fuck up the script. And
then you're just repeating the same things over and over again.
It's a tough balance.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's been a great year. Definitely.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I think we knew going in with the list of games that some things are gonna get delayed, but with the list of games going into 2015, you're like, wow, this is one of the best years for games.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of them...
It's certainly been a very strong and impressive
Yeah.
year. That
and I
will
think a
say.
lot of them delivered, too. You know, you always get like, oh, man, I'm so excited for this game. And it's like, man, all right, it was okay. But, like Halo 5. But, but...
Although critically, Ryan, that game did do pretty well.
It did, but I didn't really like it.
It didn't meet your
yeah,
expectations.
It's not going to be on my list, which, you know, usually a Halo game would be.
Yeah, so that's kind of a shame.
Yeah, but you know, there was so many great games that came out
Yeah.
that when you compare it, it's just like, all right, whatever. I had some great experiences. We can let this one pass
So
without
what
getting
about-
too much fanfare.
What about Rare Replay, man?
That was a good game, but that was all games that came out
I
before.
know.
So I don't think, personally, I don't think we should have any
Yeah, that's why
remasters or re-releases of games. Like, I'm not going to say like Gears of War
Yeah.
collection shouldn't be on there or anything like that, or Uncharted.
I was gonna say that's why I didn't mention even though I wouldn't anyway, because
Yeah, I mean sometimes they're great. Like I remember when The Last of Us, the year that remaster came out,
Yeah.
people were putting that on their Game of the Year list,
Yeah.
even though it
Oh,
was.
well, dude, that was last year. Oh, that's right. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
last year. That's why.
Was it last year?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's why. Because there was nothing else.
It was basically the best PS4
yeah.
game. Yeah,
It's
at the
like,
time.
well, there's nothing else, so I guess we got to give it to The Last of Us, even though it was an old game.
Oh, Ryan, Mario Maker?
Mario Maker's
that
pretty
Mario
good,
Maker?
but it didn't.
It's not on your list.
It was cool while I was interested in it, but
Oh.
it kind of the novelty wore off pretty quickly. But I see a lot of people still building levels and Nintendo's still supporting it, and I think that's a great experimental game.
Yeah.
I think it's a cool idea that they released that, especially with something so usually controlled like Mario is.
Yeah.
To say, here's all the tools for Mario, do what you want.
Yeah, no, like that's...
And I think that's a cool thing that I wish, you know, like Nintendo would continue with it with other games.
Definitely.
Other publishers and developers should be more open to, you know, going down a different road with some of these things that they've just not really been iterating much on over the years.
For sure.
So
Definitely.
yeah, so we'll be talking more about Game of the Year as the year goes on, and I think that's going to wrap it up for this podcast.
Yeah, we gone a while on this one.
Yeah, we went a little bit longer than I thought we were going to, but that's okay. We have some opinions, and we want to get them out there. So what's on the horizon here? What do we have going on? We got
Horizon Zero Dawn?
yeah, that's not for a while,
I know.
but
I hope it comes out next year.
Uncharted. Just Cause 3 is going to be coming out. That's
Yeah, we
kind
still
of
got
the
Just
last
Cause.
game.
Just Cause
of
3 is coming out. Let's see what else we got, Ryan.
Battlefront came out this week.
Yeah, Sai. How's Battlefront, man?
Have not played it yet. I'm expecting to play it a little bit this weekend.
Would your brother
Cool.
get it?
No, my roommate did.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's getting about the reviews I thought it would.
Yeah.
It's not running away. It's not a runaway hit, but it's getting, 6 and 7s, which isn't terrible, but
Well, apparently playing as the Emperor is cheesy in that game, so.
I heard Boba Fett was kind of overpowered too.
Yeah, because he has like a jetpack.
Yeah,
that
he's a
he can use.
jetpack
Yeah.
and all sorts like flamethrower and shit, rockets. But Boba Fett's supposed to be a badass, so
Yeah, apparently.
yeah, I mean, I'm probably gonna check it out. I wasn't blown away by the beta, but I think there was enough there to make me interested in taking a look at the full package.
There's quite a few modes, dude.
Yeah, there's quite a few modes
And quite a few maps. Like,
yeah, I wanna, and it looks so good.
Mm.
Like it looks so
I
much
know,
like
it
a Star Wars game. It sounds so much like Star Wars that I want that game to be
yeah.
Star Wars, and I don't think it's gonna be Star Wars, but
Well, apparently they have a pretty cool co-op. Well, and one player and co-op, like Horde mode, pretty much.
yeah,
It's just you and another dude. Like, just
Yeah,
going in.
yeah, co-op mode. And
Yeah.
Well, I'll definitely be giving you guys my review once I play it, so we'll look forward to that.
All right, yeah, and I'm gonna play it too, so we can go back and forth and see if our opinions coincide or not. So that'll be a good discussion.
Absolutely.
If anyone's interested in getting a hold of us, you can send an email to mgamecast@gmail.com. You can check us out on thegamerholics.com. Drop us a comment there. Comment on the Facebook post. We're all over Facebook and Twitter, so we're pretty open for anybody to reach us if you have an idea for a topic or just want to ask a question. Let us know. All right. Thanks,
All right.
guys.
All right.
All right, good to see you guys.
Yeah, we'll catch you next time.
All right, brother.
Have a great evening, everybody.